Hello, my name is Bill Nix. In this edition of Cultural Capital, we're going to put STEAM in science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're also going to meet a young lady who's a teacher at UB Kinsey Elementary School and has won the prestigious Fulbright Scholarship. Join us next on Cultural Capital. Welcome to Cultural Capital. I'm sitting here talking again to Gail Burnaford, who is with the Department of Education at FAU. And we have here Jan Rodusky, who is the Grants Director for the Cultural Council. Welcome back, Gail, and welcome, Jan. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
And of course, we're talking about arts integration, and we want to kind of continue that conversation. And I really want Jan to kind of talk a little bit about the history of the Cultural Council's involvement in this whole effort, and specifically the building learning communities through arts and culture.
So Bill, about 4 years ago, the Cultural Council started learning more about arts integration. And with our contacts with Gail Burnaford and some really helping us with a project, developed a grant program that we could involve our cultural organizations to really build their capacity for delivering an arts integrated curriculum with a partnering school. So the program went for 3 years, and one of our cultural organizations, the Young Singers of the Palm Beaches, was a grantee of ours for all 3 years, and they worked with Carver Middle School. They chose Carver Middle School because they'd already started working with Carver in their programs. And so it was a natural fit. And so what they did was they delivered social studies curriculum through music and choral.
Wow. Interesting. We, at a previous program, talked about Hidden Oaks Elementary School and what they had done with Ellis Island, and again, social studies, but using all kinds of artistic disciplines. Now, Gail, what was your role in this effort?
I was responsible for planning and facilitating the professional development for the cultural organizations and for the teachers in the schools who were participating in this program. And it was really not just about here's what we can do, here's how we can plan arts integration. It really was about building the capacity of the organizations, the cultural organizations, and the schools to partner in this way to deepen learning for the students. And that takes time. It doesn't happen in 2 months or 6 months even. So the 3-year project enabled those who were participating to really get a sense of what it meant to plan and implement and evaluate curriculum together as partners.
So it was more on the side of professional development of the teacher versus the student learning.
Right. Well, the teachers are the ones who are responsible for actually going into the classroom and doing the hard work with the students. But what we tried to do is provide them with the support of the Cultural Council and of each other for sharing practice, for looking at the student work that came out of that, to really sort of build their repertoire of arts integration strategies and approaches so that they could do this work well and children would learn accordingly.
How did that all come out?
The culminating event was an opera that Carver 6th graders presented to their student body, and they also had administration there and principals and representatives, really.
From the whole school district? From
the school district, as well as some state representatives, some county representatives.
Oh, okay. So you were really showcasing this is what arts integration can do in a real life setting with both teachers and students.
Exactly, to see it play out and so that everybody had an idea of what arts integration can be.
Yeah. And what was the play? I mean, the opera?
So it was a study of monarchy through democracy and snippets of each form of government through their social studies program.
Interesting. Tell you what, let's take a look at this really arts integration program at Carver Middle School, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit later.
we have the opportunity to bring cultural organizations, along with teaching artists and middle schools throughout Palm Beach County together to teach artist integration through social studies.
It really brings everybody together. You have organizations working with schools, children understanding their purpose in life and where they kind of fit in the world. And so arts integration to me is like one of the best things you can possibly have.
The teachers also engaged not just in preparing for a performance, but also with what we call thinking routines from Harvard's Project Zero. And the thinking routines have helped these children get much more deeply into the content of social studies, vocabulary, language arts, and their writing.
This program as a teaching artist has been a huge growing experience for me. At first, I was just wondering, gosh, how am I going to get music into social studies? But as the program went along, it became much easier, and hopefully that I've brought things into the classroom that the teachers can use without me there. And I've helped the children experience music in a different way than they're not used to. And they're able to also take away a much deeper understanding of what they're being taught.
The Young Singers of the Palm Beach's philosophy is to touch as many children's lives as possible through music. We build life skills through music. We teach them to be good to one another. We teach them responsibility. And the byproduct of all of the work that we do with the disciplines we teach is the beautiful music that you hear.
The Cultural Council's had a great opportunity to work with some wonderful schools, some wonderful teaching artists, some great teachers, and more importantly, students. Bringing in arts integration is like the key. It brings it all together. Teaching your core subjects is wonderful, but when you add that A, the arts, it really makes it relevant. It's like a ripple effect.
It gave the children an opportunity to incorporate things that they love to do. We have a lot of children who love to dance, who love to sing, and it gave them an opportunity to excel.
There's really a lot of potential here to do wonderful work that helps students learn at all levels.
And we're so pleased to be able to do this with Building Learning Communities through Arts and Culture for its third year. And the Cultural Council would love to continue to do this. We need your help to do it, so thanks very much.
Music has the power to bring out the best in human beings.
When I sing, I feel I'm on the top of the world.
Every culture is remembered by their art. They're remembered by their paintings. They're remembered by their music.
So Jan, what was the reaction of those who were there?
Well, the opera was amazing. These students not only learned some social studies, but they also learned what it is to put on a production of an opera, what an opera means, the choral arrangements, the music, even everything post-production and advertising and marketing to present their play.
No kidding.
So it was a full production that the students did.
And did they enjoy it?
Oh, I think they had a great time. You can see on their faces, and you can see on the video.
Yeah.
They had a really great time.
Got some little actors in there, in the group.
Yes, definitely.
And singers.
And singers.
And what's really interesting about that is that when you watch these children perform, in arts integration world, we call that performing knowledge. And there was no doubt in anyone's minds that they really understood this transition in governments from monarchy to democracy because they were performing it. They were demonstrating it through the opera. That's what arts integration is about.
It's real key because we were talking about the Ellis Island and the kids hearing words like tenement, but really not understanding what a tenement is. Then having to build one and having to live in one really brings it home.
Exactly.
And they really are learning in that sense.
Exactly.
Wow. What's the next thing the Cultural Council is thinking about doing?
So we learned that over 3 years we've kind of evolved, and we started with social studies because it wasn't taught on the FCAT. But now there's a new program, and I'll let Gail really explain STEAM and what that means.
All right.
And that's our next endeavor.
STEAM versus STEM.
Well, the added A is for the arts, as you can imagine, and there are STEM programs all around the country. They're being well funded. They have to do with integrating science and technology and mathematics in education, and engineering, and all different aspects of it. So we call them loosely STEM programs, because it seems that the energy in this country is all about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's what's tested most intensively. What's interesting about the STEAM projects is that I think the science and math community are starting to pay attention to the intersections between those disciplines and arts disciplines. I mean, the way creative scientists think is the way creative artists think in many ways. I mean, the same synapses, in a sense, are firing.
Michelangelo was both an artist and a...
Exactly. So I think there's real potential in the STEAM grants that are being implemented in the Cultural Council, taking the lead here locally, to explore exactly what that might mean in school curriculum.
And again, for the audience, science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're saying you need to add that A.
That's correct.
To make it STEAM.
Yes.
And a lot of the innovation, a lot of the creativity that comes out of the artists can really be used in the sciences and engineering.
Right, and I think that artists can learn from being with mathematicians and with scientists. You know, I often say that arts integration isn't just about content, it's about people. Arts integration is about linking people who can think together about innovative ways to help children learn. And so when you put a mathematician in the room with a scientist, with an engineer, with somebody interested in technology, and a visual artist, or an improv, stand-up comic.
Sure. Who knows what you get?
Might happen.
What do you think is the future of arts integration worldwide?
Well, I think it's here to stay. I mean, I was there in the days when it was considered sort of off the beaten path. I think it's now a part of what schools look to, what they would like to do more of, what they're curious about. I think what we now have to do, though, is to provide the research and evaluation and the evidence for the difference it makes. I also want to say I think it's really important that it not be construed as a way to do with fewer arts specialists in schools. Rather, we need more such artists. Specialists in order to really deepen the curriculum in that way.
That's an excellent point to make. And Jan, is the Cultural Council going to continue with the STEM versus STEAM efforts?
We are. We were fortunate enough to partner with the Community Foundation. Okay. So we have a 3-year grant, and we're able to bring in 5 cultural organizations who are partnering with us. We are working with Pioneer Park, a school out in the Glades, and we are able to touch every classroom, every grade in the school year with these 5 partners.
Wow.
To deliver arts integration in the science curriculum.
Well, we look forward to hearing a lot more about what's going on there. And Gail, thank you again for coming and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank
you. This
pleasure.
Is a really exciting area, really exciting for learning and teaching and otherwise. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And when we return, we're going to hear about some exciting news about a teacher at UB Kinsey Elementary School and what she's going to do to take this whole arts integration across the pond. Come back.
Bring out the action hero in you. Fuel up right and get energized. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, and her mother couldn't believe her. She is the child I am for. I am a volunteer child advocate. I am you.
Get involved in the Guardian Ad Litem program at galpbc.org.
Nice. Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on! Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going.